Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Hello. Thank you, everybody, for visiting us and taking time to solve problems for nonprofits. My name's Greg. I am not a founder, but Jot over here is one of the co-founders of Opportunity Hack all the way back in 2013. So this is our 10th year doing hackathons for charities for nonprofits. Today is going to be pretty insane because tomorrow will be more insane. We're going to be up all night writing code for nonprofits. What I wanted to do just very briefly is actually introduce my friend Jot over here. Jot and I have known each other for a very, very long time. He is an avid runner. He is an avid, sarcastic person. And he's really happy to be here. So let me introduce to you Jot Powers, who will take us through the rest of the presentation.
All right. Thank you, everyone. That's enough of me, although you'll notice I am wearing the same shirt. It's now a tradition. I have a t-shirt on underneath that. First, I want to thank all the sponsors. This year worked out really well because obviously Devil's Invent and ASU allowed us to work together on getting all of this out and available in this space for you, and we'll be talking about that, as well as you can see Meta, which is where Greg works, Spotify, which is where Nicole, raise your hand, where Nicole works. And so if you have questions about your playlist, don't ask her. And then Shift Coffee, I think they have cold brew.
Yeah, where's John?
John, I saw him. Oh, there he is, cold brew. And then obviously Devil's Invent, Anthony, and the whole group and the space really helps make this go. Here's the agenda, that we go through. A couple things. We are heavily invested in Slack, right? So if you're not in Slack, you're gonna have a bad time. So make sure you're there. That's where we have the mentors. That's how a lot of the workflows work. So you can see down on the lower right is the Slack, whatever, team channel, whatever they call it. And how to get there. So please make sure you are there. We're going to, this is opening comments, then keynote from Diana, and then project pitches, which we have videos for, and then we'll do team selection and try to get you all going. And then what you see is right about 11, we're gonna let you free, and then you can just come ask questions. Here's some useful things to know. The ASU people have done a really good job of showing where it is that you can be. So I want to just go through those real quickly. Here, you can see where we are here. We have all the rest of this space. So if it says reserved for Devil's Invent, then those are places that you can use. So please, for the love of God, do not all of you stay here, right? Find your spaces out in there. But there is way more space than you need. So if you think that you're really crowded and you don't like the space there, you can go, if you go out across the courtyard and just go that way, there's another small space. I think you have to use your ASU ID to get in. And then across the courtyard, this whole area is also available, right? So there is a lot of space to spread out. I would recommend you spread out. You're going to be together for a very long time. So try to make it so it's only your team that you're sharing all of your fun with. Here are some of the requirements. Don't move the tables, right? Like pretend you're a student in a class and the professor's going to be angry at you. Don't lay on the tables. You're all students. That's what the floor is for. One of the things that we talk about a lot is making sure that we want to give you the best opportunity to win, right? And the way you do that is by understanding what you're going to be judged against. So here are the judging criteria. They're on DevPost, they're on ohack.dev, they are on Slack. If you decide that you want to skip some of these, that's totally fine. You are negatively impacting your ability to win, right? So recognize, like anything else, for those of you, I know we probably have a mix, for those of you who have a real engineering mindset, right? Your goal is always to just go to the metrics. Here are the metrics that you should be doing. You have to have your DevPost project created. You have to have your GitHub code committed, and you have to have a video. And so we're going to use that video to help us work through the project pitches, as well as be able to show people over time the progress that we've made here. Here are the mentors. There are a lot. Is this the mentor slide?
Yeah, we duplicate it to
Okay.
emphasize it. But yeah.
Okay, so please use the mentors kindly. In Slack, there's the Ask a Mentor Slack channel. There are a bunch of them that are around here. Anyone who is mentoring, want to raise a hand? All right, these are your victims. So in our experience, some of the places that people have challenges are around GitHub repos, GitHub, how to create them, how to add your team members, how to connect that to your project on DevPost. We have a lot of experience on that. On the GitHub side, you all should be learning that anyway, because if you're going into industry and you don't know GitHub, you're in trouble. So take this as an opportunity to learn. And with that, we have our keynote. So Diana has agreed to help us out by talking through some things. CEO of a nonprofit, as well as which is for coding. Experience with, I believe I saw Microsoft and Boeing, and then also the CEO, CTO of another company around finance. Yes. So please let us warmly welcome Diana and I will hand.
Alrighty, good morning everyone. I hope everyone's having a really great start to their Saturday. I'm so happy to see so many people here who are working on solutions for nonprofits. You could have been at so many different hackathons right now, but you chose this one that focuses on social good and nonprofits. So I'm really excited for you guys and the products that you guys are going to be building. And I will go ahead and get started. I did want to let you guys know that I am a little nervous, so bear with me. All right, so as was mentioned, my name is Diana Lee Guzman. I'm a software engineer and also a social entrepreneur. So I made a little slide deck to tell you guys a little bit about myself. Other direction. Okay. Oh, we're double clicking. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so a little bit about me is I'm Mexican American. My dad is from Chihuahua, Mexico, and my mom is from Nogales, Arizona / Sonora, so she grew up on both sides of the border. And I graduated from Carl Hayden High School. Have any of you heard of Carl Hayden? It's about 20 minutes west from here. That is where I met my husband. We're basically high school sweethearts, and I have lots of hobbies. I'm pretty much like a serial hobbyist. I collect them all, but the ones that I really enjoy, I like to read, I like to paint. Not that I'm very good at it, but I do like to do it. And I also like to play chess. Once again, not that I'm very good at it, but I like to do it. But most importantly, the coolest thing about me is I have two dogs. Their names are Kira and Kino. Anybody dog lovers in here? Any dog lovers? Okay, who are the cat lovers in here?
Get out!
Yeah. So, after I graduated from Carl Hayden, I graduated in 2014. I did not come to ASU. I actually went to NYU. I went across the country trying to look for a different landscape because I was basically born and raised here my whole life. So I took some really cool classes, such as GPU programming, artificial intelligence, some data science work, and I was also part of some really cool organizations. Also, you guys are all ASU students here, I'm assuming, so if you guys have the opportunity to study abroad, I highly recommend it. Okay, so I earned my Bachelor's of Science in Computer Science, and with that degree, I became a software engineer. My first job was at Boeing, so I got to work on some really cool projects while I was there. So probably my favorite project that I've ever worked on is an autonomous submarine. Just the amount of challenges that you have when you're basically trying to navigate blindly. You don't know where you are in the water, and you're trying to complete a mission. So there's no communication underwater unless you're tethered. And then if you are on land, you have 2 degrees of 2 axes, right? Moving your X and your Y direction. when you're in water, you move in the XYZ direction. So you have 6 degrees of freedom that makes it really difficult to navigate through when there's not great communication. I also got to work on some cockpit displays for pilots, and that basically interfaces with all the sensors because they need to see where they are going and they need to know about their aircraft at all times. All right, and then I got a job with Microsoft and I worked on the HoloLens team. So have you guys heard of HoloLens? Augmented reality? Okay, lots of fun. So I did a lot of the sensor integration and I did a lot of improving sensor performance for the headset, just because there's a lot of similarities with an autonomous vehicle, is that you have to understand the environment around you. Because if I put on a headset and I drop a hologram here, I look to the right, and if I come back, that hologram has to be right exactly where it was. So there's a lot of trying to understand the scene around you, creating anchors so that those holograms don't move. But there's also hand tracking, right? You have to see the different gestures that you're doing, if it's a pinch, if it's a zoom, if you're grabbing something, if you're putting something down. But there's also eye tracking. We want to know where your eyes are moving when you're using these applications. And you can actually log into the device just by the cameras identifying your iris. Everybody's iris is absolutely unique, so the device can tell who you are just by looking at your eyes. All right, and I say all of that because I have gotten to where I've gotten because I work with teams, which is what you guys are going to be doing today. If somebody threw me in a massive 100,000 line code base, I would probably still be looking at that code right now. I know what I know because there were 2 teammates that helped me get there. And I knew things that maybe they didn't know, and they knew things that I didn't know, and we share that information with one another. If there's 2 people in the same class, you guys are gonna walk away with different understandings of what the concepts that your professor were teaching you. That's why things like when you guys study in a group, you guys come together and you share those different perspectives, and you guys have a better understanding of that concept. So very similarly is you guys need to collaborate with one another over the next 24 hours or until 3 p.m. tomorrow, that you guys are working on these solutions, because you guys all come from very different backgrounds and you guys understand things very differently. So when you bring those brains and those perspectives together, you create something really awesome. So there is a quote by Michael Jordan, and it says, "Talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships." So I'm really glad that he tweeted that yesterday, just in time for my presentation, and he had -2 quoted tweets. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to talking a little bit about my background again. So I'm not a corporate software engineer any longer. I am the CEO and founder of my own nonprofit, Coding Colors, so we teach students how to code, but we primarily focus on high school students. So we run workshops, hackathons, summer camps, and we also offer web dev certifications. And I did not leave software entirely. I'm also the Chief Technology Officer for a tech company. So this is a tech startup in which we help clients, home buyers, get a fair rate on their mortgage. So now we're doing full stack. I'm in charge of the full stack and product development for our company there. And something that I really wanted to share with you guys, because this is what I learned in my time as a CTO, is that when you are building a product for a client, because these nonprofits are your clients, you gotta move fast, okay? So, take it from my good girl Courtney here, is don't let perfect be the enemy of good. You guys are here not to build some optimized, beautiful solution. You're here to get your minimum viable product down. If it's working, get it working, move on. You don't gotta sit there thinking about, I gotta do binary search, I gotta do bubble sort, I gotta do all these things. Get it working. That is all you have to do, and once it's working, just move on, okay? You should write down the things that need to be improved, the optimizations that you should have, because later down the road, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, if you continue to work with these nonprofits, then you can implement those optimizations. But this is not the time for optimizations, this is the time to get stuff done, okay? Alrighty, so, the last thing that I wanted to mention while you guys are here is make sure you connect with everybody that's here. Well, maybe not everybody, but connect with a few people that are here, because maybe tomorrow, maybe in 5 years, maybe in 10 years, you guys are all gonna become social entrepreneurs, let's say, and you wanna build a product that serves the greater good. you need to know who your people are. And by getting to know the people in this room, obviously a lot of you care about social good. You're not just worried about making $1 billion off of some product. Maybe you will make some money, but doing the right thing, doing something that benefits society as a whole. So if you get to know the people around you here, you guys all have similar interests, and you'll be ahead of the game by knowing who else cares about societal issues other than you. All right? Cool. And if you guys don't want to take it from me, please take it from Drake. And that is just about it. I'm really glad that all of you guys are here. Like I said, I'm really excited for the projects that you guys are going to be building. I do have my contact up here if you guys ever want to be in touch. If you guys ever are going to jump into the software industry, or you guys want to, jump into social entrepreneurship, you guys can definitely reach out, and I will help you to my best ability. But yeah, thank you guys for being here today and allowing me to share my story with you.
All right, a couple things out of that. First, getting to know other people is probably a very, very good thing, and not an opportunity you have a lot. So when it comes to getting jobs, it's getting your first job is kind of tough, but after that, it's always about people that you know. I know our industry selects for introverts that don't like talking to other people. It may not be obvious, but that's me. So use this opportunity. You have a very easy way to get to know people. Second thing on, yes, you want to deliver a product. GitHub is great for those things that you want to do. Create issues, right? Like you just track it in GitHub. Do that. The way we structure this is there is a prize for winning the hackathon, but a vast majority of it actually comes from delivering something for our nonprofits. So keep that in mind. Okay, here we are. We're going to go through the nonprofit pitches. We did them as videos so that you don't have to listen to people talking, and it allows us to make sure we get it into 3 minutes. I believe there's 7 total, and so we're going to do those in order. The way we set it up is we do limit the number of teams that can work on any nonprofit until we ensure that all the nonprofits have teams. And then after that, we'll open it up so that you can work on anything. You do form the teams at hack.ohack.dev, and what you'll see is there's a little icon that says create. You'll try to create a team, you can't. There's a little, hey, slide me. Then it goes through creating the repos, adding you to the Slack channel, all of that. So if you need help with that, let us know, but otherwise that'll be there. And then there will be Slack channels for the nonprofits where you can ask them questions. So one of the things that you will find out is it is often easy to build what it is you think people want, but it is far better to ask them, especially when you get down into the questions of, hey, there's a couple different ways I could implement this, which is the best one. That's when you want to definitely use that MVO time. And we're happy to provide opinions too. Any questions out of that before we go into the presentations? All right, awesome. All right, so I'm just gonna hope this works.
Blue Star Mothers of Maricopa. We are a local chapter of a national organization. So each one of those is individually run, and we do individual fundraising, and we all have our own individual smaller missions. Of course, the overall mission is to support our troops, our veterans, our nation's Gold Star families, military families, veterans, and so that's the larger mission, but how each chapter does that looks a little bit different. So we have some independence in doing that. We have monthly get-togethers, and that's just our support for military moms, and our biggest projects of the year are serving our veterans, which those just require people power, but our biggest thing that I think we're looking for with some help with this specific project is that we send care packages, and so that is by far our largest undertaking of activity, gathering all the things that go in them or fundraising for them. So we can either fundraise So we buy the things for the packages themselves, or we're actually asking Boy Scout troops to help us with a sock drive, or a local dentist office to help us with toothbrushes and toothpastes. And then there's the piece of the addresses, because military, they move and change all the time, right? Even though we sent a package to Joe in April, Joe may be somewhere new in November. Anyway, so then when it comes time for care packaging, it's in inventory management. So now we have all these addresses, and they're split. Some are male, some are female. And so some are overseas, some are stateside. And so now we have this information, and then we have to match the need to what we have of the supplies that we've fundraised for. Then we have to dump all the address information into this fancy sheet that the USPS wants us to put it in, which it doesn't always like military addresses. And it is kind of testing. It is kind of testing. I tried to use it a couple weeks ago. It needs a CSV file. There's so many columns on there because it wants to know, is it international, is it domestic, what type of package you're sending. Like, it asks all these things that obviously I'm not collecting from the mom that just wants to send a package. She's just sending me Joe Smith and his address. She's not going to send me all that other stuff that spreadsheet needs to know.
All right, so there's Blue Star Mothers. Please make a note of it, understand what it is, and you'll be able to ask more questions. So we're just gonna go through all of these. I can always provide. Let's see, did I get that right?
Hi, I'm Dr. Mary, and my nonprofit is based on my daughter Susie. Susie passed away at 31 years of age, and she had a lifetime of health issues. She went septic at the end, and she would sit in the hospital room for months at a time, and the energy would just suck it right out of her, right? So she used her standby with a coloring book, a teddy bear, and a blanket. We created Susie Q's Kids, and we create comfort bags, so our kids get panda bears, blankets, and a bag full of goodies, always including coloring books and crayons. So how can you guys help me? Oh my goodness. I told you that we love coloring books, and we always put them in our bags. And we go into the schools and we talk about the power of positivity and suicide awareness and prevention. And I engage kids in helping kids. That's part of our mission. So Susie Q's is a great nonprofit. We've been top rated the last several years. We have students that reach out to us from the schools. And we've been going to the schools, and it's just, one here, one there. And the same model is happening. They want to be able to give back. They want to be able to do something. So they ask me how to do it. So when I was in the school, I'm thinking of how, talented they are, and maybe how we can use that. Maybe, if, John Bell, little Johnny makes the coloring pages in the book, he's going to be able to sell it to all the aunts and uncles and grandma and grandpa, right? And if we can take the, buy one, get one type of model maybe, and then we have that many to go into our bags, we have a variety of different coloring books that we can have. And we can sell them to alumni and whatnot to the books as well. So really taking a look at how I can scale. I can go into a school and say, I got a program. Here's my program. This is how easy it is. Your kids draw the pictures, write quotes, whatever it is that they want to put in the book. This is how we hit your sponsors up to be able to, fill in the spaces for sponsorship, and then I will do the research on what, service agencies and nonprofits are in the area. But if I can do that, there's schools that raise $35,000 for one school I went to. I'm like, oh, how can I capture this? That would set me up. I don't have a building right now. I want a building. I want to be able to grow and scale. And if I have a platform that I can, that I can show, I will open more doors.
Again, make notes of, here's one of the things I tell people, make notes of the ones that you think could also be interesting just from a technology perspective. My classic go-to line is the best nonprofit ever is teaching kittens to read in Africa, right? Because everybody wants to teach somebody to read, and it's Africa and it's kittens. It's got everything. But the fact is, there are a lot of different nonprofits that are very meaningful that maybe you're like, I'm not so sure, but their technology needs are there, and they have a very vibrant community that needs them. So keep that in mind. It's not just what the mission is, but it's also the mission and the technology and what you think could be interesting there.
The Act's purpose is to protect teachers who suspicion of sexual assault and domestic violence by providing them with the information they need to keep themselves safe and their friends. The app opens up on an innocuous-looking tic-tac-toe screen, and after completing a single pattern, the user can access the real features, which there are a variety, starting off with the emergency features. So here, the user can call 911, send location to contacts, or phone a friend. And in the contact a professional screen, the user can access a variety of hotlines while calling and texting them. The user can also set a list of emergency contacts from their contact list. And the next screen is document abuse, where users can take pictures and recordings depending on what's going on around them, and they can also view recordings and pictures by date and time. The next feature is the safety plan feature, which basically walks a user through what they might need to know and do in case of an emergency, like with regards to school, job, or with their partner. There's also a self-care section with a gratitude journal, mood tracker, and a physical activity section to help them try to take care of themselves in an emergency situation. There's also a learning science page that lets them learn about, for example, policy in their state, types of sexual violence, and safety for students.
We are taking assistance from Opportunity Hack to embark on a comprehensive redevelopment journey of our application, encompassing a complete overhaul of all its screens. Our commitment to excellence is unwavering, and we're open to rewriting the entire application and any programming language that best suits the project's requirements. It's worth mentioning that we previously employed Flutter for our prototype. We're flexible and eager to explore alternative technologies that can enhance the user experience and functionality of our app, like React Native. With Opportunity Hack's expertise and innovation, we're excited to revitalize our app and bring it to new heights, ensuring that it meets the highest standards of quality and user satisfaction.
My nonprofit is called Warrior Wives, and we have been a support organization for military wives since 2008. We really just started as a group in my living room, really just military wives from kind of every background across the board. We have a lot of us are National Guard and Reservist wives, of course, some full-time military wives. So we had really just a combination of wives in my geographical area, which we found that we just did not have the support that we needed. We were based out of Missouri, and we had a small group in the North Missouri. We were in Southwest. And what we found was that it is very difficult really anymore to do much support-wise if you don't have a base that is online. Our goal is to support wives through prayer training and relationship building. And so how we would do that would be to focus every time we came together on one of those aspects. Specifically, what we have found is that like as a National Guard wife, I do not necessarily live around the other wives or the other families. You know, National Guard and reservists don't always even live in the same state as others in their husband's units. And so you may actually have another wife down the road from you, but you will never know it. And so it became very important for us to try to figure out how to get military wives together. We would like to be able to have a platform where wives from any geographical area would be able to come online, get the relationship building aspect with other wives in a safe environment. And to be able to do that, we need some parameters to be able to vet, to make sure that the women that are coming on, or the people that are requesting to be a part, have been vetted that they truly are military wives of some sort, and also to protect those who are already part of the group to gather. Ideally, what I would foresee and like to see happen is that a wife, say coming to Missouri, could go to somewhere online, our website, a platform, when they find us, and be able to somehow locate. I would like to have the opportunity for them to both locate a geographical leader close to them and also connect online. Because, once this is implemented, it will help us to then build our leaders in other locations, which is truly what we would like to see.
Legends Advocates is the name, and it was formed in 2013 by myself and a couple of friends, and we were basically inspired by the guerrilla filmmaking movement. We wanted to create an animation version of that, so we had a volunteer-run nonprofit that we formed at the time. And we provide services to the community members in the independent animation community. As a social enterprise nonprofit, we're constantly seeking just opportunities for grant funding, for partnerships, and we also want to pay our workers as we onboard workers. We want to make sure they're getting paid fairly. Thankfully, we have a system with the IRS where there's a database of tax returns from foundations and other nonprofits that we can search. But it's very, very time consuming the way it is currently. You basically have to go and, know the foundation's name or the nonprofit's name and search it, or know their EIN, their employment identification number. And then it's like a one at a time process. You have to comb through the data. And so it's not very efficient. So it'd be great to have a search engine of sorts that kind of connects with that. Maybe we could narrow or widen the searches by geographic or by the type of nonprofit. For instance, nonprofits, they each have what they call an NTEE code. We could search by that would be really helpful. By their gross revenue, so we can compare, if my nonprofit has a certain amount of gross revenue and another nonprofit does have a similar, that would be very helpful in terms of what wages they provide their workers, to compare apples to apples. I'm definitely using this on a weekly basis at the very least. And I want to say that our nonprofit's not unique to this. I'm pretty sure a lot of nonprofits, pretty much every nonprofit that's not making millions of dollars already would find this very helpful.
In a world where this is solved, and hackers have solved all these problems for you, like what does that look like? You wake up in the morning and what happens?
I wake up in the morning with my tea, and I just go to this awesome opportunity hack search engine, and I basically just type in, a few search keywords, and I just get this great list, really helpful list of people, foundations we can, that would match what we need, and target them specifically, and hopefully create partnerships to help fund our projects and support the independent animation community.
The American Association is a Latino serving nonprofit located in the state of Georgia. We have been around for over 50 years, and we impact around 48,000 to 50,000 individuals in the state of Georgia. We offer a holistic service that looks to help Latinos in Georgia achieve self-sufficiency, and prosperity. So I like to say that they can come here, they can get services if they are in crisis, if they're looking to open a business, if they don't know how to speak English. So we offer all of those services for Latinos that either are just arriving to the U.S. or are already here in the state of Georgia, so they can achieve prosperity and self-sufficiency. Primarily, people come because, you know, we're a very well-known nonprofit here in Georgia, and people know that they can come here to the LAA to come get services. The current problem that we're facing at the Latin American Association is our website has a lot of old technology, so we are in the process of doing a big project that involves fully updating our website's technology, the content it has, so it is not only optimized for a computer, but also it's optimized for the phone. We're also looking to obtain a little bit more information about the users that come to our website, so we can better give them the content that they need and give them the information that they need. But I don't want to depend on social media. I want the website to be the main place where all of the LAA information is at. You know, if they're typing, you know, digital classes in Georgia, we have a bunch of digital classes that people can find the LAA easily and register through our website instead of us having to do regular promotions on email, social media, calling the media. If it's constantly on the website, people can find it either without seeing it on social media. You know, our website was created like in 2005, and a lot of things have been built on top of it, and I think this is going to be a full year-long project, and this project specifically with analytics is going to be super helpful for us. So our website, a dream website is SEO optimized. Is, you know, the ability to open it on the phone and have it super good, and then have all of the donation opportunities perfectly explained on the website so we can retarget people that haven't donated in the past.
So I work for Preservation Partners of the Fox Valley. We are a very small nonprofit. We have 4 employees who are all part-time. And we run 5 historic sites in the Fox Valley area, which is about an hour out of Chicago, Illinois. Preservation Partners has been around since the 70s. And we've had computers about as long as computers were available to your regular, person on the street. Because of that, we have thousands and thousands of documents, varying from, scans of stuff to just text documents to photo files to sometimes recordings that have been adding up since the 80s. And because standards of data organization has changed so much and no one's ever really done a thorough recall, this means that these are all organized in a way that doesn't necessarily make sense, is impossible to maintain. And some of the documents are labeled in unsearchable, completely unusable ways. Yeah, some of it is that things are not organized in a way that would necessarily make sense if you're looking for something. And because it's so big and it's so many files that even when we try to be like, okay, now we're organizing it by, here are the historical photos, they're all in this file, but then it's like, are they photos of the historical Fabian Villa or the historical Japanese garden? There's not just sort of organization hierarchy that has been a problem. As well as sort of the search functions and the ability to, look at a number of files from the same, research project or things like that because they weren't clearly organized at all. Just being able to more easily, when we're looking for a resource, find it, and that's the fundamental problem, right? When we're trying to find something we can't.
All right, that was all 7. I especially like that at least one of them has a website that potentially could be older than some of you. So that's always entertaining. Just moving on now to team formation. We've talked about it a little bit, OHEC.dev. Here's screenshots with arrows and text, and if you can't follow that, maybe you're in the wrong field. Go ahead, again, you're gonna wanna be on Slack, we'll answer questions, but you can also come up to us here, and, we'll help you out as well. Mentors, if you're listening in, please join on Ask a Mentor, right, so that everyone knows you're there, and then we can start getting questions, and there will be way more questions than we normally have time for, but we'll take all that help. And with that, let's talk about team formation. 2 to 5 people, right? So if you have less than 2 people, you're not a team, you're an individual. That's sort of how this thing works. 5 is the maximum, just because we need to be able to make sure that it's a manageable size, and that we're not actually bringing a horde. You are going to, if you can, you want to mix up skills and passions. So front end, back end, right, places, UI, all of those things. If you have everybody good at one of them, you're going to find that you're going to have a real challenge. And again, look at the challenges that you find interesting. And with that, I think find a team, create a team, and then let's get started on that. So with that, thank you very much. Remember, everyone wants to just run away. Get your stuff set up and started. Get your GitHub repos created. Make sure you're in Slack, and then spread the heck out. All right, thank you, everyone.
Anyone who's on the wait list, I've got good news, we have enough room for you, but I need you to still finish checking in over there. So if you're on the wait list, please line up over there, we'll finalize the check-in. If you had not checked in with us, and you came in late, I need you to get in line behind the wait list, and we'll finalize that as well. Otherwise, the rest of you good to go.